Hello there, fellow summoners. Mad Dog HT here, and we're going into the Cavalier event quest. This is chapter 2.2, which has the new Overseer as the boss, and he has some newer nodes that I wasn't really too concerned with, although maybe I should have. It has Daunting, Taunting, Taunters expertise while they're down. So with these taunts, basically if you're not throwing specials before the taunt expires, then you're going to get a stifle on you, and then that's going to reduce your combat power rate to get back up to specials, and then it's going to be harder to throw those specials to make sure you don't get more stifles. And you have the passive heal block, and then hard knock life on top of that. And then the Overseer, he has a mechanic where after he throws a special he can auto block. So yeah, let's get into this one. So I went in and I'm looking at his abilities and stuff. Hadn't really looked at much footage on him. I figured Fury would be pretty solid for this, and yeah, just get some bleeds off and bleed this guy to death, and it should be fine. And the first fight goes pretty well. We do bring in Fury, and we just put a lot of bleeds on him. You know, try to manage the disorients that you get on yourself. I think Apocalypse would be a solid option for this dude as well, especially since he can become immune to disorients. I'm not certain if he becomes immune to the passive ones though, because I think the disorients on this that you receive from Hard Knock Life are passive. I was considering going in with Mojo. So Mojo, Black Widow, Clairvoyant, those two just destroyed this whole quest. So if you're looking for path clears, those two champs are quite excellent. Yeah, so it's a passive disorient. I don't know, I'd have to test that out on Apocalypse. I'm not certain if he would become immune to it. I'm thinking it has to be a debuff. So, but yeah, so we're just gonna go in here with Nick Fury and try to do our best to just bleed this guy down. His specials are really easy to just get out of range of, so you can just kind of back out. So you can see I have a taunt on, so if I don't throw a special by the time that expires, which I didn't, I get that stifle. But because Nick Fury, when he knocks champs down, he can purify all non-damaging debuffs on yourself. It kind of just makes it to where it's not really relevant. As long as you can knock him down, whether through a heavy or a special, then you're good to go. And had I built up enough charges, he can just become unblockable, and I don't think the Overseer would be able to auto block that, being fully unblockable. But yeah, we're just gonna keep bleeding this guy away and spamming some specials. I don't think I do get fully unblockable, and I do not kill off the LMD, which if I did, probably would have made this go, not probably, it would have made this go a lot quicker. And the passive heal block that is on, I believe it would get purified when the LMD gets destroyed, and so you could probably get some healing from the stifles and the taunts. But not 100% certain. I'm pretty certain though the heal block would go. Pretty much any debuffs or passives get purified and clear off when LMD gets destroyed. So I think that would work. But yeah, Nick Fury is just a great option. I'm trying to not, use too many parries and get too many disorients on you, because it can really mess you up with just blocking, getting parries in. Here we're going to do a couple dash back intercepts. If you hit him twice in a row, you can get auto blocked, but the first hit you can just get past that. And then yeah, he was pretty aggressive, wasn't happening there. But yeah, if you hit him twice in a row, you can get auto-blocked when he has that shield up after his special. So just be careful with that. Almost down. And I got a bunch of disorients on me, but he is just bleeding away. And yeah, I think we're just gonna finish him off. See, there's the auto block. And yeah, not too difficult with Nick Fury. So Nick Fury, solid option. That was my first run. Got the solo. You know, as far as the specials go, special 1, special 2, I think I would just preferably push him to special 2 so that you can have less of that auto block shield uptime, have less of it. But yeah, so the next up, we're gonna go in with, who do we go in with? We went in with Moleman. So I wasn't thinking about the auto block, and I do get auto blocked and stunned, but the monster mass ends up purifying those. But I was a little bit too careless at the beginning of the fight. We actually don't finish this out with a solo. Definitely should be able to solo this with Moleman. I think especially if you got into Frenzy earlier on, you'd be able to just bleed this guy out and just get a lot of damage that way. I do feel like with that auto block shield, so there we go, I get stunned, but then it purifies it, so I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna keep smashing away like that. But I end up not having like enough monster mass or something at some point to get it purified, and I get smacked pretty hard. So yeah, you do have to be careful with that. So yeah, right there, it doesn't get purified fast enough, and he punishes me for it, and I think that happens one more time. And I probably should have thrown my special 3, but I didn't, and I do throw my special 3, and I think this is where I try to hit into his auto block shield, and I get hit because I can't purify that stun. I was careless on that. His monster mass has also been purifying those taunts and stifles. And I have a special concussion debuff up. So I'm not certain why that happened. I have to go look back at the nodes. Didn't really pay attention to a lot of the nodes yet. Right there, I was like, oh crap! I just got smacked hard, and he's regenning. I'm not exactly certain when he regens. But I didn't have much health left, so I was like, I gotta be a little bit more careful with those auto blocks. I could have closed it out, but you know, you have a passive heal block on you, so you can't get any willpower healing. And then yeah, you have to kind of wait out that shield. I'm doing a lot of heavy baits. His heavy is extremely easy to bait and counter. You know, all of his specials are easy to bait and counter, except you just got to be careful with that green shield that comes up that can parry stun you if you attack him twice in a row. But yeah, we'll let this finish out. I end up dying, and I come back in with Mojo, who was ramped up from the path, who's excellent for the pass on this for the mystic nodes. There wasn't too much left to fight off on this dude. I think I got him down to like 10% before I died. And yeah, just gotta be careful of your parries. Hard knock life can really mess you up. And yeah, Moleman, he's a solid option. I should have just played a little bit less, a little bit more careful. I was very careless at the beginning with just thinking that the monster mass would save me from those stuns after trying to punish his specials. And I probably should have should have been able to finish this guy off, but I can't remember how I mess up. Oh, well, there we go. Mess up right there. I just get a late dash back and get smacked. Get KO'd. Yeah, so Mojo is at 4 charges. And the one nice thing about Mojo is you don't have to be always attacking to get damage. You can complete some prompts by, dashing back, hitting into the block, holding block, whatever it might be. You can get those prompts off, get some degen, build some power, and yeah, he works out really well. I was thinking about coming back in here and just trying to use Mojo to solo the Overseer. He surely can do it, I know that for a fact. But yeah, we get the cleanup there, and yeah, we're gonna come back in with another champ, and I'm trying to think who I used for this next run. It is, Cosmic Ghost Rider. So I was giving Cosmic Ghost Rider a try. He's a newer champ of mine at this time, and I had taken him to rank 2. As of now, he is rank 3. He is an absolute monster. I'm kind of getting more used to him and how he places the judgments and how you can kind of maximize that to, your advantage depending on what you need for the fight. And yeah, he is just a crazy damage dealing champ. So this is definitely not the probably the best way to play him, especially for this fight. He was still pretty new to me. I do have him as a rank 5, and I haven't used him a ton. I think I brought him into Alliance War once, but I was thinking that I'd be able to get a bunch of damage off on this guy. But when you have to dance around that green auto block parry shield, it kind of messes with your cycle, and you do most likely get your crit precision off just from a dex, and that kind of gives some of the damage. But here we get off a special 3 to get the Fury, and yeah, I know we do end up dying in this fight, and I believe I go and try to finish off with Black Widow, Clairvoyant. And that's where I found out a little bit more about his ability, where he can, his awakened ability can give you some damage back when you hit into him when he has that green stun shield up. And yeah, you'll see that the damage is pretty significant over the course of the fight. But I didn't notice that, because I noticed I was like fighting him, felt like I was just like losing health here and there, and it wasn't really certain what was going on. But it's his awakened ability, and yeah, you can get some energy damage dealt back to you. So when he's regenning, and I'll have to look back into why he's regenning. He didn't regen when in the first fight with Fury. I just felt like, with all those stifles and everything on you, it just really hurts his rotation. You see the retaliation. So I have this retaliation on me, and I'm not certain. Maybe it's because I have the concussion. But I kept taking this damage. I'm like, what is that? And yeah, it ends up taking some decent chunks off of me. And yeah, we end up dying before we can just smash through this guy. If you don't get, look at those specials. The specials I was getting like 1k per hit taken off. So yeah, I'll have to look back into his abilities and see why that is. Yeah, so I'm looking on anime right now, and his awakened ability is if your abilities fail to either immunity or a reduction in ability accuracy, you take a burst of physical damage, and it goes on a 1 second cooldown, and then if you hit him while he's recovering from a heavy or a special, then you also take some damage. So that's why I'm taking so much damage in this fight. And yeah, with that passive heal block, and then you got the disorients on you and all that, and the stifle that's kind of limiting your power gain. Yeah, it all really adds up. So I really feel like a champ that will do damage over time would work really well. And I actually used Void to solo him on my last attempt, but you're gonna see here in a little bit my 4th attempt that I used Mysterio on. I only got a partial recording of that. I ran out of storage, I didn't realize that, and I missed the Void solo, and then I missed the first solo on the Guillotine 2099 before I realized that I wasn't recording anything anymore and my phone had ran out of storage, which really kind of sucked. But if you have somebody that can do some good damage over time, I think they are ideal for this one, just because it'll end it quick. You don't have to worry about specials, you don't have to worry about getting that damage back. And yeah, I mean, I just feel like I'm trying to dance around and not get hit. I finally do get hit, and we die. And so now you're gonna see me go back in with Black Widow Clairvoyant and try to take this guy down. I'm like looking back at the notes, I'm like, what is causing that damage that I'm taking? And I wasn't seeing it. You know, I'm looking at, we got all these taunt nodes, we got the passive heal block. While they're down, I'm like, well, it's like Black Widow, she should just rinse the rest of this guy, no problem. Well, check out the damage that I start to take here. So I switched to poison, which is a problem. So there I do a medium, and I get the retaliation, and then I'm like, I'm gonna get some power gain, and I do a heavy, and I get the retaliation, and I do another L1, and I get them like, what is going on? Why am I taking this damage? It wasn't clicking as to like how that was working. I was thinking that I could like power control him and get a bunch of power gain, and I'm just like, I just keep taking this damage. So if you do fight the Overseer, you definitely don't want to use somebody that's going to apply a bunch of poisons to him, because he's poison immune and you're going to take damage for that. So anytime it's not part of like the EQ node or anything like that. It's just you're going to be taking damage if you try to poison this guy because he's immune. So and I believe I stay in poison for a lot of this fight, and it just never clicked as to why, and I just kept on like getting my health drawn down. And so I do a special too, because I was trying to control his power quite a bit so that I didn't have to deal with his shield. And yeah, it just wasn't working as well as I had hoped. I mean, I am controlling his power, but yeah, I did switch to Hellfire to the Incinerates, and yeah, he's also immune to Incinerates, it looks like, or the bleeds, or I'm not even sure why I'm getting it shows that he's immune. I don't know if he has it different. He's got that cosmic node thing up. Let's see. I'm not certain why he's immune, but I'll have to look more into his abilities, because I just, I never got, I don't think I ever get hit this fight, but most of all that damage is from that retaliation, and yeah, quite brutal. And I was like, I didn't know if I was gonna finish this off, and I don't. I think I end up finishing him off with Mojo again. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm pausing, like, what is going on? Why am I taking this damage? And like every time I hit him, I'm taking damage, and I was just like, Is there any way that I can finish this off without dying? And I don't think there really is. Yeah, I think we're gonna die on this next retaliation, or I just double hit into him and get parried, and yeah, die. 2 deaths. Cosmic Ghost Rider, Black Widow. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, retaliation. If he's immune, take back. Striking after they recover from heavy or especially take damage. So I was like, okay, sure. So we just go back in with Mojo again, and yeah, I think Mojo could do pretty well on this fight, simply just because he can gain a lot of power, do a lot of degen if he's already like ramped up. So you can see, like, I think I barely hit this guy, and a lot of the damage is just from the degen, and it's able to knock this guy out with whatever he had left from just dancing around and whatnot. So yeah, so that's that one. We get the KO finally. We're learning stuff. We're just practicing, you know, just jumping into this event quest and trying to do our best without looking too much into abilities and whatnot. But yeah, I probably should have been. And so this is where the recording started. And I do get the solo with Mysterio. You're gonna see I end up with like 140, 150 hits on this guy. But yeah, this is the only clip that I have, and this is the last recording, and I missed my last fight, which was a solo with Void, and then I missed my first Guillotine 2099 fight that I used Silver Surfer on, and I ended up, once I noticed that, I did another path and I redid that with Silver Surfer. But Mysterio, you know, he can do all right. The one thing is, you know, the reflection is not gonna work great. So if you were to just like get hit in the face and get reflected damage back, well, you're not gonna be able to heal that up from the passive heal block. You can power control him with the L2, get to L3, but once you start getting all those stifles and whatnot on, it's kind of this fight is kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah, you don't want to poison him. Obviously, we learned that from the Black Widow fight, that if you poison him and he's immune, you're gonna take some burst of energy damage back. But you know, for this fight, I'm just doing a lot of heavy baits, and then making sure that I take my time when he has that green shield up, and yeah, we're just going at him. And then also, when that green shield is up, you can't parry stun him. You'll take retaliation damage from that because he'll be immune, I believe, and it's for any debuff, right? It's not just a damage over time. Yeah, it's any immunity that he causes, you take a burst of damage back. So we're almost up to a special 2, and we're just gonna hit him with that. We got 3 chemical gas charges. It's gonna power drain him from letting him get a special 3 off. And yeah, we're gonna finish him off here. We get the KO, and that's all we have. So we just have those 4, actually 3.5 fights. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed me getting smacked in the face and dying from that energy damage. But hopefully you do better. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.